Wait, why is his name Luden?
Leuven.
Leuven.
Okay, so his name is Leuven because first we adopted a cat and we named her Stella after the beer.
Yes, okay.
And then we got him and we were trying to keep with the theme of the Stella beer thing.
Fair.
And the first Stella brewery was in Leuven, Belgium.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So we named him Leuven.
Yeah, we have Joey. His name's Joey, like Joey from Friends, because he doesn't share food. And then Chicken. She was the littlest. She like looked like a baby chick when we got her. So and I always wanted an animal named Chicken.
It's a funny life goal to have. Like one day I'm gonna have an animal named Chicken. He's actually just a human baby. Trapped in a dog's body.
Yeah. But wouldn't that be the greatest thing ever, being a human trapped in a dog's body? You just get pet all day?
You just get to do this?
Yeah.
Your biggest struggle in life is when you get left for a couple hours.
And you have no sense of time.
Yeah. Hello everybody, I'm Zoe. This is the Zoe Adventurous Show and I am here with Caitlin Barth.
Hello! Should I introduce myself?
Sure. Okay. Yes.
I'm Caitlin Barth. I own Macros and Metcons Nutrition Coaching and I'm a CrossFit coach and I sometimes serve food to people.
Caitlin and I met,
we met on the internet.
Yeah, it was a weird story. So we started working together before we actually met in real life, like significantly before. I think that I found you on Instagram.
You reached out to me, I remember it. You reached out to me January of last year.
2018.
Yes, and you just had questions about like veganism and CrossFit, and then you reached out to me again in like October and you're like, all right, let's do this.
I was, I think I just moved to San Diego and so then I was ready to kind of buckle down and get going. So in my fitness journey, I think I'm currently down like 18 pounds.
Jeez.
14 of which have been while working with you.
Whoop whoop!
And we worked together from November until August before actually meeting in person.
Yeah, the remote thing is wild because like, I don't know, now that I know you, I feel like I have such a better handle on like how to coach you and stuff.
But it's weird too, because when we met, it was like...
I know so much about you.
It was as if we had kind of known each other, but we hadn't even like heard each other's voices external to social media.
There's this thing where you have to like build trust with people, and I think that's a big reason why, like, I don't care who you are, like, I don't care if I've met you, I don't care if I know you, like, if you reach out to me and ask me nutrition questions, like, I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability as quickly as I can, because you never know when that person's going to be ready to pull the trigger. And you know, again, it's like about building that trust. Like if I was just some asshole and like wouldn't answer the questions, like you would never trust me to be your nutrition coach.
Right.
Like that's what I've just tried to live by, like in running my own business in general, is like I'm happy to give people like macro splits.
Macro splits. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so I do, so Macros and Metcons is my business. Macros is short for macronutrients, and Metcon is short for metabolic conditioning. It's a way to get your heart rate up, get your metabolism going essentially, and a way to condition yourself. So macros, macro split. So macronutrients there are 3 of them, and it's essentially what food is made up of. So all food and drink have calories attached to them. And then on a further level from the calories, all food has macros. So your macros are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And a split essentially is how you split them up. So it could be percentage-wise. A really common one is 30% protein, 40% carbohydrates, and 30% fat. That's kind of just like a basic one.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect when we started working together. I was like, what is macro counting?
Right, yeah.
Only to find out later that it's very specific, targeted calorie counting, essentially. But I have tried a lot of things leading up to finally working with you, and none of them made me ever lose any weight. Yeah. So
that's good.
Now here we are.
This works.
What do you have to say about people who are scared of carbs?
Oh man, carbs are great. Like, carbs and fats are just like the most wonderful things really in life.
They're so great.
Carbohydrates, it could be donuts, it can be
cookies.
Yeah, cookies. Like it's all the fun foods, right? And I've like, you know, stuck my flag in the macro hill, because ultimately if you are counting your macros, it doesn't really matter what you believe in as far as nutrition. Like, so if it's a fear of carbs, you can have lower carbs, that's fine. Carbs are great for you. But people become scared of carbs because in Western culture, carbohydrate dense foods can be highly processed. And so people think that eating carbohydrates are going to make you fat. In reality, carbs are not going to make you fat. Eating too many calories, period, across the board. My best advice, like, don't be afraid of them. You don't have to. You know, in the human experience, like, we should be able to enjoy fun foods every once in a while.
Sometimes people, I mean, like, sometimes I eat an Oreo every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get on that kick where my priority when I'm planning my day is like, where do I get my Oreos?
And there are all these belief systems around nutrition. There are keto zealots and carnivore diet zealots and vegan zealots and, you know, high carb zealots, whatever. Like, there are just so many people who stick their flag, like I was saying before, in a belief system instead of in the science of nutrition. At the end of the day, nutrition comes down to how many calories you're eating versus how many calories you're expending. I don't think that my body stays the way that it is because I'm on a vegan diet. It stays the way that it is because I eat how much I'm supposed to most of the time.
Yeah. On the vegan topic,
Yes, yeah.
I think that people's favorite question in the world is like, but where do you get your protein?
Where do you get your protein?
How do vegans get protein?
We get our protein from food, the same way everyone else does. As far as like where you get your protein, like we supplement with protein shakes. We eat tofu, we eat tempeh. Those are going to be, and seitan. Those are going to be like the least processed alternative protein products. What we tend to run into in the vegan world, essentially, is we get a lot of shit because we eat processed meat products because they do have protein in them. I don't eat a vegan diet because I believe it's the best diet for everybody, and I believe that everybody should eat this way, and I believe it's going to reduce my risk of cancer and heart disease. Like, sure, if that stuff happens, having those more processed meat products, like, if that's what kills me, really, at the end of the day, I think people who get all of their protein from food are magical unicorns, and I have a handful of clients that can do that, and I think it's amazing. What it comes down to is if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. That's a principle. How you get there is your method. So whether that's counting macros, or whether that's a keto style diet or a paleo style diet, the principles are still the same. The method is what changes. Mm-hmm. You know, and yes, there are absolutely special cases of people who have like eating disorders or any sort of, you know, mental illness or anything like that, who that might not be a good fit for them. But that doesn't mean that at some point they won't find what is a good fit for them if that's still their goal. The other camp in nutrition is mental health and wellness, mm-hmm. and healthy at every size movement and body positivity. All of those different movements, which are so, so important. And I started feeling like, oh my God, like, am I doing a bad thing? Because I help people lose weight. But ultimately what it come down to, I had a talk with a friend of mine, and she's like, you're not gonna coach everyone. Like, you don't have to be everyone's coach. Like, you don't have to try and fit in all of these boxes to try and help everyone, because you can't. You right. cannot help everyone. I had to like just kind of separate myself and understand that what I do is important and what they do is important, and it doesn't mean that what either one of us are doing is any less important. Right. Listen, everyone's doing the best they can. Like, you don't have to buy all organic, non-GMO, like blah, 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 free range, all this stuff. Like, you don't have to buy all that stuff all the time to like be healthier.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like, at the end of the day, what are you putting in your body?
Right.
And how much of it?
Some people promote myself for a minute. I do have my own YouTube channel as well that's full of nutrition information. It's just Caitlin Barth. That's it.
I'll spell her name for you.
It's pretty tight.
It's not Barf.
No, it's not Barf, despite my Instagram handle. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Thank you for watching. We will be back in the next week or maybe 2 weeks. I don't really know. Follow Caitlin on her YouTube and ask us any nutrition questions. And by us, I mean her.
Cheers. Do we cheers?
Cheers, yeah.
Cheers! That was so fun.